Hey fancy people, welcome to That Sci-Fi Show. I'm Jay, and today we take a short break from our discussion of philosophy, ethics, and the dynamic duo to discuss Doctor Who. So roll the bump. Today's video is brought to you by our patrons on Patreon. Get your monthly box of rewards, including a 3D printed hand-painted spaceship, a new comic book, and lots more for just $5 a month at patreon.com/fancyteeth. So then, the Doctor. Doctor Who is a long-running British science fiction series. In fact, it's been nearly ongoing since 1963. The show follows the adventures of an alien from the planet Gallagher called Doctor Who. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I just made several people's heads explode. The show follows the adventures of an alien from the planet Gallagher called the Doctor, who explores the universe in a time-traveling spaceship called a TARDIS. Now that's as far as we'll go into the show's bio. If you're a fan of the show, then you know it already, and if not, well, it just gets stranger from there. There have been 839 episodes to date, and while we're fans of both the old show and the new incarnation that began in 2005, since these videos don't generally go on for hours and hours, we're limiting ourselves to the new Doctor Who. The show just finished its 10th season, and change is on the horizon with both Stephen Moffat and Peter Capaldi leaving the show to make room for new showrunner Chris Chibnall and new Doctor Jodie Whittaker. Wait, the new Doctor's a woman? How did the internet handle that? Not well then. Yeah, that checks out. For a show that's run for 50 years, it's tradition to bring back a bunch of villains from classic Who, and many new baddies like the Weeping Angels and the Silents have made multiple appearances. However, we want to give a shout out to the villains who know when not to overstay their welcome. So here are our picks for the best one-off monsters in the new series of Doctor Who. Our criteria were monsters who were neither A, returning villains from classic Who, or B, featured in multiple stories in the new series. Footnote: British programs use the term series in a similar way to how Americans use the term seasons. I'm gonna randomly mix the two up on purpose just to make sure that nobody's happy. The Krillitane School Reunion, Series 2. As a monster, the Krillitanes weren't much to write home about, just big CGI bat people who were especially challenging for the show's early days and their more modest effects budgets. However, they had a great leader in the form of Anthony Stewart Head's Mr. Finch, the headmaster of the school where the 10th Doctor finally reunites with long-lost companion Sarah Jane Smith. Head's performance is wonderfully slimy, infusing the Krillitane with more pep and verve than their goofy CGI counterparts. Number 9. The Foretold Mummy on the Orient Express from Season 8. While Capaldi's first season got off to a rocky start, it introduced us to writer Jamie Matheson, who gifted Who fans with a great pair of episodes featuring wonderful one-off monsters. The Foretold Mummy on the Orient Express is appropriately spooky with an intriguing gimmick. What if the monster only appeared 60 seconds before it was going to kill you? The mystery of how to defeat the omnipresent mummy made for a great episode that finally let Capaldi have a little fun and establish his no-frills take on the Time Lord. Number 8. House, the Doctor's Wife, Season 6. While Doctor Who can sometimes land big-name actors, it's usually just for quick voiceover roles that probably took a half hour in a voiceover booth. Sometimes they don't work, see Ian McKellen in The Snowman, but Michael Sheen's performance as House in Season 6's The Doctor's Wife made for a formidable foe for one of Matt Smith's best episodes during his tenure. House's disembodied voice was creepy as all hell, and his ability to manufacture untold psychological horrors for Amy and Rory while trapped in the TARDIS made for a worthy villain in the only episode Neil Gaiman ever wrote for Doctor Who. We don't speak of the other one. Number 7. the Vashta Nerada, Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead from Series 4. Say what you will about Stephen Moffat's time running Doctor Who, he knows how to craft fantastic monsters by amplifying everyday fears into terrifying creatures. Take for instance the Vashta Nerada, the invisible creatures that live in the shadows and just wait for you to step out of the light so they can devour you whole. They're an inventive creature even when they're not animating skeletons in spacesuits to chase you down and gobbling up flesh as fast as they do a chicken wing. Let's just thank our lucky stars that unlike the angels, Moffat didn't run the Vashta Nerada into the ground. Number 6. Prisoner Zero, the 11th Hour from Season 5. Matt Smith's first episode had to check a lot of boxes. Introduce a new doctor, a new companion, a new TARDIS, new tone and direction for the show, and so it's a relief that the 11th Doctor's first nemesis is so inventive. A mysterious escapee from the prison in the wall of Amy Pond's childhood home, Prisoner Zero uses the images of coma victims to hide in plain sight. This leads to some deliciously disturbing images, like a man barking with the voice of his attack dog, or Olivia Colman and the twins from The Shining opening hellish anglerfish mouths as they chase the Doctor and Amy. As the inaugural monster for Matt Smith's run as the Doctor, Prisoner Zero was just complicated enough to be fun without getting in the way of the show's groundwork. Now that we're halfway through the list, if you're enjoying the video, then please do me a favor and subscribe if you haven't already. You can also click that bell if you like to be notified when we upload a video. Number 5. The Flood, The Waters of Mars from the David Tennant specials. David Tennant's 2008 specials were nothing to write home about, but the only great one of the bunch also featured one of Who's spookiest monsters. A water-like parasite that infects and possesses anyone it touches, the Flood took an everyday object we all encounter, water, and made an object of terror in true Who tradition. The possessed crew members of Bowie Base 1, with their chapped lips and shrunken pupils, made for one of Who's creepiest sights, not to mention the fact that they were always dripping water that seemingly came from nowhere. Just so creepy. Number 4. The Family of Blood from the episodes The Family of Blood and Human Nature in Season 3. You don't need creepy creature effects to make a good monster, and in fact Doctor Who often couldn't afford them. In Season 3's best two-parter, the 10th Doctor uses a chameleon arch to turn human in order to escape the relentless Family of Blood, a group of aliens who seek the regenerative powers of the Time Lords. The way the family turned innocent people in World War II-era Britain, including a little girl carrying a balloon, into shrieking villains, made them very intimidating. Perhaps the creepiest thing about them isn't anything they did, but the fearful rage that they brought about in the Doctor himself, as the defeated family are each subjected to a fairy tale punishment that you wouldn't wish upon your worst enemy. Number 3. The Boneless from Flatline in Season 8. While Jamie Matheson's Mummy on the Orient Express had a great monster in The Foretold, it pales in comparison to the transcendently creepy Boneless from Flatline, one of the greatest episodes of the show just in general. Two-dimensional beings invading our 3D world and disrupting the laws of size and scale to do it, the Boneless manifest their reality-warping powers in many unsettling forms, from turning one victim's innards into an abstract mural in one person's room, to flattening many others in the walls and tunnels of London. Their final form is the creepiest, a shambling mass of crawling, barely there zombies who can only be defeated by the wave of the Doctor's sonic screwdriver and a heroic speech. True, that's most Doctor Who monsters, but what can you do? The Boneless are one monster that I would definitely love to see again. Number 2. Unknown Monster from Midnight in Series 4. In case you can't tell, I've got a soft spot for the creepy crawlies that you can't see. Season 4's Midnight is a great episode of the show, mostly for the fact that it confines the Doctor to a passenger bus full of scared strangers for a Twilight Zone-style exercise in psychological horror. The creature that possesses passenger Skye, and later the Doctor itself, is never named or seen, but the way it infects and learns about its victims through repeating others' language, then matching it, then taking over, makes for one of the best of Doctor Who's nail-biters. Number 1. The Gas Mask Zombies, from The Empty Child and The Doctor Dances in Season 1. When it comes to one-and-done monsters in modern Doctor Who, how could we pick anything else other than the gas mask zombies from Season 1's The Empty Child and The Doctor Dances? Right from the get-go, Stephen Moffat proved he could make stomach-churning horror out of the everyday, turning a little boy crying, "Are you my mummy?" into one of the show's most iconic lines. What's more, the creatures themselves aren't malevolent. Simply an alien hospital offering a wrong diagnosis. It's these little details about the creatures that make them creepy and deeply tragic all at the same time, making them one of the only monsters in Doctor Who whose defeat means that everybody lives. Oh, hi. So what's your favorite one-off Doctor Who villain? Who's your favorite series regular? Daleks or Cybermen? Let us know in the comments section below. Please guys, take just a second and click on the like button or share this video on social media. It's very helpful and it really grows the channel. This episode was supposed to be part 2 to our discussion on Batman and ethics, but Clint sent me the first draft of this script, like the serious draft, before I fill it with nonsense, and I had to go ahead and record it. However, the Batman script has been written and should be out in a couple of days. We've also been planning some Rick and Morty content. We just happen to be perpetually behind, so stay tuned. And that's all I have for you guys today. Until next time, I continue to be Jay Parks.